AJ, you've used the word chaos to describe your plan, but this one, was this one almost scripted, like the way everything worked? I know it can change at any moment, but did it feel like it went according to the plan you maybe put in pencil?
Absolutely not scripted, because there's just so much stuff that goes on, and from the very first part of it, I mean, Cater had no idea, first off, and responded favorably with an incredible first inning with a ton of energy in the ballpark, and an atmosphere that was second to none. So, when he gets 3 up, 3 down, we have Herder for the beginning at Naylor. But yeah, the game's going to change, the ebbs and flows of things, runners, guys getting up just in case you need them, defending against their pinch hitters. There was no order, that I had in my mind. I just knew I had 10 guys available, and we were going to use them. So we've been doing this for a couple months, so our guys respond favorably and did an incredible job of getting up, getting ready, and getting their hitters out almost perfectly, in terms of coming in situations and pounding the strike zone and doing their part to put pressure on them to continue innings.
For Jose Ramirez to face 4 different pitchers of 4 different styles of pitchers, mm-hmm. is that a win that you? I mean, if you could draw it up, that's what you'd want.
Including intentional walk. I want credit for the intentional walk because I don't like doing that, but he's got my respect so much, on so many levels, and when it's not easy facing him or behind him. Naylor's no easy guy. He made the All-Star team. So, but yeah, I mean, obviously with this type of strategy that we have, we can give different looks to different guys. We can give, you have a 6'6" lefty all the way to some fireball right-handers, to Holton throwing backdoor cutters, to, Brisky throwing turbo sinkers and changeups. So I part of the way our roster is built, and the reason we're maximizing strengths is we can do a lot of different things to hitters. It's not easy to face 4 different guys, especially I took one at bat away from Ramirez to your question. But you need the guys to do it, to throw strikes and pound the strike zone and go right after guys and get big outs. And we did all of that.
AJ, we don't see you pull pitchers aside as they come off the field at the end of an inning very often. It looked like you had something to say with Kiter. Can you kind of
Yeah, he didn't know. So he didn't know what our strategy was before the game. He knew he was starting the game, and certainly after 3 up, 3 down, I kept Joey there to make sure he was translated and he understood, and I wanted him to know that he did a hell of a job getting through his 3 outs, and that I can talk to him about it later. But the last thing on his mind at that point was coming out of the game. And so I just wanted him to know exactly what we were doing and nothing get lost in the moment, because 3 up, 3 down against the top of that lineup, including a couple of all-stars, is a great accomplishment, and he's built to start and go extended. That just wasn't the route we were going to go today. I wanted to tell him why and tell him he did a great job.
Matt Vierling doesn't always get the credit he might deserve. Everything from his defense today to offense to everything he brings this team.
Yeah, no, I mean he's batting third. Old school or new school, that's a really important spot to break up our lefties. We know that they're going to attack Carp with righties, so he's got to be prepared to hit off both righties and lefties. But I don't even know if he's unsung, because I think everybody around Detroit and everybody in our clubhouse and in the coaching room and in my office knows what he brings to the table. He's a winning player, and I've said that for a while now, how he contributes to wins on so many levels. And he may play right field tomorrow, which is as far away from where he played today as you can get, and he'll just accept the assignment and go and do his part. So I love Matt Vierling, and as a guy who has played in the World Series, has played on good teams, understands the little things that turn into big things. He's a real guiding light to some of our players' growth.
So far in the postseason, it's been tough hitting-wise for Keith and Torkelson, but today in the 6th, they gave you great at-bats and an insurance run there. What does that do for those 2 players moving forward?
Yeah, and Riley. We talked about Riley before. You have Cole, you have Torque. I mean, In October, you're one swing away from having a completely different emotional reaction as a player. You know, you come up with a big hit, you come up with a big walk, you move a runner, you do little things offensively to contribute to run scoring, and you feel better about your day. I mean, nobody's looking at a stat line. This isn't the time of year to be obsessed with the stat line. Productive, good at bats, move the ball when you can. If you don't, wait till your next time up. Play good defense, celebrate a win. I mean, that's all that matters. And all of those guys, those three guys that I mentioned, you know, have done that. None of them have said a word about, you know, their struggles or their difficulties finding hits. And they're not moving in the batting order. They're playing because they're three of our best.
AJ, you mentioned Bo and his turbo slider. I guess how impressive was it what you got from him today and what you've gotten all postseason?
Yeah, I mean, isn't it crazy how like Bo closes the game, pitches the middle of the game, Holden opens game 1 and then closes game 3. I mean, for those that have been around us and what we're doing, that's kind of how we've done it. And the guys continue to respond. Bo comes in a really big spot. You know, in a perfect world, I'd love to bring these guys in, clean inning, big lead, you know, deep breath and attack, you know, guys that they can match up with. And that never happens, especially in October. So strike throwing is key. Being at your best from pitch 1, you know, you see the velocity up, you see the execution of big pitches to get the first batter out. Our inherited runners is really good. And our guys understand that they're put in that position because every single person wearing the English D knows they can get the job done, and they continue to respond.
What kind of impact does Jake Rogers bring to this team? I mean, he steals a lot of strikes behind the plate. He runs hard, scored on that sac fly today. I mean, how important is he for you guys?
And a little bit of levity. I mean, this guy has a knack for keeping his calm at the biggest moments. You know, it was, you know, it might be at the meeting at the mound, it might be coming, and he was standing next to me, and he wouldn't go lead off, and it was because the first time he got up, I told him get a hit, and he got one, and then the next time up, he wasn't going to go up until I said get a hit. So, Jake, I publicly apologized to being late to that coaching moment, but he's a tremendous, you know, presence, and I don't use that word lightly because it matters when, you know, when you have it and you have that kind of influence on a lot of the boys around him.
AJ, what's going through your mind from the other dugout when they're making such aggressive pinch hitting substitutions early in the game, and then when you do get through those outs, how much better advantaged position?
Yeah, I don't know that it surprised me just because it's October and just watch these games. I mean, I've watched as many playoff games as I can in my whole life, and aggressiveness out of the manager's chair has only gotten more and more over the years, and you kind of expect it. The big outs are huge. I mean, obviously the reason they're doing it is because they like that matchup. We do a lot of that, so you certainly can appreciate the effort to try to get a good matchup, especially with guys on base and pinch hitting before guys even get in at bat. I mean, I understand we're trying to move our players around and put them in good positions. So are they. And you need your guy to beat their guy in those moments. And when we did, whether it's Will Vest line drive off of Fry who had come to pinch hit earlier in the game, or the Noel at bat, so early in the game against Herter. It's fun when you're on the positive side of that. Yep, you got it.
Spencer, where were you at mentally just before your double? Trying to break through at the plate a little bit.
Yeah, just grinding, stay in the fight, and just keep going. That's really it. Playoffs, you don't get caught up in the numbers. You're just trying to win baseball games, and we were doing that. So I was pretty happy and felt good to come through there.
Spencer, you guys are a young team, one win away from going to the championship series. You've stayed where your feet were all year, even through this crazy run. How much anxious are you now to you're right there at it? Does it change anything? Is it a little bit more apprehensive? Not apprehensive, but excited about getting it, reaching for it maybe a little?
I've said this before. We're all human, so we can hear the noise. We know how close we are. But it just goes back to one pitch at a time, one out at a time. Yeah, that's been our approach since day one of spring training, just finding ways to win every single day, and things started to click, a couple weeks ago, month ago, whatever it was. So that's what's worked. So if it's not broken, don't fix it.
Any more questions? So here on the right side on the aisle.
Spencer, just what were you feeling? You kind of raised your hand when you got the second on that double. Just what were you feeling in that moment?
That was a great feeling. Colt made it easy, got on base, passed ball early in the at-bat. So just try to keep it as simple as possible, get the job done no matter how it looked. And it felt really good to come through right there.
Back over there on the right side.
Tork, just what were your impressions of the atmosphere in general, the fans of the first game here in 10 years?
Yeah, electric. You knew it was coming. You knew that they were going to show up and be loud, and they didn't disappoint. It feels like it's so much fun for us to play in front of that many people screaming, and I'm sure it's difficult to play in as a visiting team. So this definitely gives us an advantage, and I'm super happy.
Over here on the left side.
The mound visits, the pitching changes, we all see it. You see it up close. What is it like as you see one pitcher coming in after another and, pitching chaos? And just what's it? What are the conversations like as it goes on?
Yes, it's we have so much trust in AJ. He's a mastermind with handling our pitching staff, handling this team, and we know when he's coming out there, and we trust every single move he's going to make. And it goes both ways. The guys that are coming in are getting the job done for him, so they deserve a lot of credit too.
Yeah, AJ was in here just before you, and he said the same thing as you, that stat lines don't matter in postseason or anything. But he also said that any one at bat that you get and just do one thing, move a runner or make a key play or whatever, get a double, or whatever, and it changes the way you feel about yourself. Is that accurate?
Yeah, that's baseball. It takes one swing, one take sometimes to feel what you want to feel, and right now wins are the most important thing, and it definitely feels good to contribute to those wins.
Right side in the back.
You've faced Cleveland a lot this year, plus the postseason. As we go deeper here in the ALDS, is it easier for the hitters now that you've seen every pitcher and what they've got and how they're going to approach you?
Yeah, I mean, it's a two-way street too. They know what they've had success against you with, and you've also seen probably every single pitch they have. So I would like to say it's advantage hitter. I'm sure pitchers will tell you it's advantage pitcher. But they got a really good pitching staff, and you got to lock into every single pitch, every single at bat, because they got some really good stuff.
Any more questions for Spencer?
Jason? How have you worked, or have you made a point to separate defense from offense? Because it seems like in the field, especially this postseason, you've been more decisive maybe on some ground balls to your right and made some pretty good plays to get out started.
I mean, you try not to take offense to defense, defense to offense. You separate them as best you can, but man, you gotta be on offense when you're on defense too. You see the ball, you go get the ball. Just trust your instincts and trust your work, and that's really all I've been doing.
Any more questions? All right, Spencer, thanks a lot for coming in.
Thanks, guys.
What's up, Chris? I made the mistake of suggesting to AJ that it might have been a little bit more scripted today, the pitching plan, and he shot me down real fast. When you go out at the beginning of the game and Cater's out there, do you have an idea, or you just wait to see how it plays out just to make sure you're warm, or how do you get yourself ready for the uncertainty there when you're going to come in?
It's more gauging pitches or number of pitches in the pen. They'll give me a rough estimate, a couple different situations on, say, like there's one out, two guys on, like, and this hitter's up, you're going to come in 100% of the time. If this situation, you might come in. If not, we'll go then you're going to be you'll start this guy, so there's some other innings that need to get covered. So it's a little bit chaotic, but I've kind of embraced it, and it's just gauging number of pitches in the pen.
Then what's the readjust when the first two guys get on against you? You know you're coming in for that pocket, and then all of a sudden you're in trouble. What do you have to regather, or is just go make the next pitch better?
Yeah, no, I felt good. I left one pitch up. It was a mistake, but I didn't feel like the other pitches, I didn't feel out of sync or anything like that, so I was still pretty confident I was going to be able to get some outs.
Right side on the back. AJ mentioned he doesn't like intentionally walking players when you've got Ramirez. It makes sense, but it had to be tough, especially after the error, to put now 2 on. How'd you handle that?
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to face him, just being a young guy. He's a superstar, but yeah, I mean, put us in a good scenario, and I mean, it gives me the opportunity to face him next time through the lineup, which if he saw me then, it didn't work out that way, but I think if he doesn't see me and then I face him for a first time, it gives AJ a little more confidence to keep me in versus take me out in that situation.
Far side on the right.
Just like many of your teammates, you spend a lot of the year in Toledo. Just kind of bigger picture, if somebody had told you back in Toledo that you would be pitching in the first playoff game in 10 years, this roaring atmosphere, what would you have said?
I would have been shocked. It didn't seem like it was going that way on both sides for the Tigers, and how I was throwing wasn't great. So I think I would have been a little surprised, but also nothing's off the table in baseball.
Any more questions? Jason?
Brant, your one strikeout was pretty big there. What was your approach against Fry when he comes up there with a runner on?
We wanted sinkers in, pelt them in, and then just kind of soft away. And I think we executed that pretty well.
Brant, in October baseball, obviously nothing's off the table, but to see pinch hitters in the second inning, third inning, were you surprised at that? And did you have to kind of adjust from planning for a left-handed to going to a right-handed guy?
I was not surprised when I saw the lineup they put out and kind of knew our plan. I kind of knew that was how it was going to unfold, and it's pretty cool that AJ was able to make that happen and get a lot of guys out of their lineup, burn a lot of guys just by having Cater start and me coming in.
Yeah, just to follow up on what you were saying about Toledo, you threw more innings there than you have in Toledo so far, and there are a lot of guys who can say something similar with the time they spent down there this season. Do you think that whether it was on the way up like you or guys who maybe had to make a pit stop down there before coming back to Detroit, that part of the journey this season is an important part of the character of this team?
Yeah, for sure. I think the ability to take a loss and then take a few losses and just be the same guy next game, I think has helped a lot of our guys that were in Toledo. Just being able to wash the previous game and just have a new one the next game. I think you saw that in the first game. We bounced back and won 2, so I think for sure that's helped the process.
Any more questions for Brent? Back here to Jason.
The atmosphere in the ballpark here for the first postseason game here in 10 years, just what was that like to pitch in, and did you find yourself at times needing to take a breath and calm your nerves?
Honestly, the atmosphere was amazing. I felt pretty calm all game. I think that's a factor of them being on my side versus not being on my side. But I enjoyed the atmosphere was electric, but it didn't cause any nerves just because I knew they were on my side, I think.
Take 2 more questions if anyone has them. All right, thanks, Brent. Congratulations.
Thank you all.